Tell me, have you ever wondered what the ultimate price of betrayal is measured in? There are those who would gamble their very existence, merely to grasp a chest of radiant gold. But the exact moment their trembling fingers brush against that coveted glory, their hands slowly wither away, crumbling into ashen dust. That is no curse of forest demons. That is instant retribution, the most ruthless verdict delivered upon a soul who callously sells out their savior. Let us turn back the wheel of time, part the dense fog of the ancient primordial forest, to witness how a human spirit became so tainted by greed that it reached the point of no return. Our tale begins in the heart of a merciless winter. The howling wind sought to shred the very life from a wandering woodcutter. Bone-chilling cold, encroaching darkness. His breath was fading into the void, waiting for a cruel surrender. But from the fragile threshold between life and the abyss of death, a colossal shadow emerged. Not a beast of prey, but a sovereign of compassion, taking the form of a majestic black bear. It did not raise its claws to claim the weak. Instead, it gently wrapped its massive fur-covered arms around the freezing, emaciated body. It offered drops of sweet nectar, shared its precious forest fruits, sacrificing its own vital warmth to resurrect a complete stranger. Resurrected from the brink of oblivion, kneeling at the feet of his savior in the damp cave, the man broke down in tears. He pressed his trembling hands together, looked up to the cavern ceiling, and uttered a vow, heavy as a mountain. If I ever betray this grace, if greed ever blinds my soul, let my body be shattered, and let these very hands rot away the moment they touch wealth and glory. That vow echoed against the ancient stone, etched into the void, and heard by the heavens. But alas, the human heart is a bottomless abyss, defying all measure. The warmth of his savior had barely faded from his coarse linen robes, before the foul stench of coin hijacked his conscience. Encountering a band of royal hunters, standing before a chest of blinding, radiant gold, the seed of greed suddenly sprouted, coiling like a venomous serpent, strangling what little morality remained. Did he hesitate? No. He slowly raised his arm, that very arm, whose wounds were licked and healed by his savior. Those very hands that clasped in a sacred vow deep within the cave, now trembled, pointing directly toward the sacred peak. Betrayal is always cruel, cold, and reeks of the foulest impurity. He did not merely sell out a life, he permanently sold his own soul. Encircled by rings of armed hunters, the Bodhisattva bearer, past incarnation of the Great Awakened One, offered no roar, no resistance. Possessing the raw might of the Forest Lord, it could have easily crushed those fragile mortals into dust. But it chose to stand perfectly still, silent and sovereign, like a 1,000-year-old ancient tree. It slowly cast its profound gaze, piercing the very soul of the man who once knelt and swore at its feet. Not a flicker of resentment, not a single reproach. There was only immense sorrow, a boundless, agonizing pity for a human life casting itself into the deepest pit of karmic ignorance. It wept for the one wielding the blade, far more than for its own fleeting life. As the fatal arrows flew, it gently closed its eyes, embracing ultimate equanimity, leaving its mortal shell to a darkened world. The silence of the saint in that moment was more deafening and earth-shattering than any scream in the universe. The sovereign had passed into nirvana, but the echoes of karma are never silent. The man stepped forward, a satisfied smirk on his lips, reaching out desperately to claim his pouch of gold. But alas, the very microsecond his fingers brushed that cold metal, a searing agony rebounded from the depths of his soul. The venomous vow made in the deep cave erupted, fulfilling itself without a fraction of error. His arms, the arms of a traitor, suddenly withered away, turning the sickly ash-gray of dry kindling peeling, and then crumbling piece by piece. He screamed a heart-wrenching wail of horror, echoing through the toxic, sacred forest. Radiant gold scattered into the black mud, mingling with the crippled, decaying hands of the betrayer. Instant retribution. Karma struck as swiftly as a blink, reclaiming exactly what he so ruthlessly traded away. As we close this chapter of the Jataka Tales, stained with the ink of karma, we profoundly realize the universe never misses a single heartbeat of good or evil. Standing at the crossroads of survival and vanity, let us quiet our minds and carry these 3 lessons of awakening into our lives. First, gratitude is the root of spiritual fortune. Do not sever your own lifeline. A single drop of grace repays a flowing spring. When you betray a benefactor, you don't just lose a bond. You extinguish the very last lamp of merit, protecting your soul. Tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and silently call the name of someone who lifted you from the abyss. Ignite a sincere thought of gratitude. Second, gold may be heavy, but dark karma is heavier. Greed is poison-coated in sugar. When you grasp gold through deceit, what crumbles away isn't just your physical hands like that woodcutter, but the absolute peace of your soul. When tempted, remind yourself, the serenity of the mind is worth more than any treasure. Third, forgiveness is not weakness. It is the ultimate liberation. Look into the compassionate eyes of the Bodhisattva bear. It embraced the blade without a trace of hatred, because it understood holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. To forgive another is to unbind yourself. Dear kindred spirits, if this humble cinematic journey has touched a hidden corner of your soul, if it has washed away a bit of sorrow and ignited the candle of compassion, then that is the greatest karmic blessing this channel, Gem Wisdom, has been honored to plant in this lifetime. The path of spiritual cultivation and healing is not meant to be walked alone. For the light of Dharma to reach further, to pierce the dark veil of human ignorance, please gracefully press the subscribe button and ring the bell of awakening. Do not hesitate to share this video with those you love, or even those struggling in the vortex of vanity. Your single share today might just be the lifeboat that saves a wandering soul. Please leave a like and linger for a moment to write this vow in the comments. I vow to live a life of gratitude and let go of all resentment. Typing these words doesn't just spread kindness to millions. It is a sacred pledge, sending a frequency of peace into the universe for your own family. We bow in profound gratitude for your presence until this very second. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love is the universal antidote. May you and your family wake up every morning with a light heart, walking firmly on the path of goodness. Farewell, and we shall meet again on the next bridge of karma.